When you start as a level 1 in GTA Online, there are not a lot of vehicles that you can afford to buy. But there are some vehicles that you can afford as a low level that are incredibly affordable. So today in this video, I am going to show you the top 10 vehicles in GTA Online that are under $100,000. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So the number 10 vehicle on this list, you can find around at a few spots in GTA Online, but it's actually $30,000 of a Southern San Andreas Super Autos, and that is going to be the Stretch, one of the limos that you can get in GTA Online. Now, as we keep going up this list, the vehicles are going to become more and more beneficial for you. Now, the reason I have the Stretch at the number 10 spot, it's not for any reason that'll actually benefit you within the game. It's just more of a fun vehicle that you can have. I'm just going to say this now. If you're low level, probably don't mess around with the Stretch unless if you're just really bored and you want to just steal it off the street, that's fine. But let's just say you have a ton of friends that are playing this game. You can just pick them up in your limo. I mean, like, how cool is that? Because when you really think about it, a limo being only $30,000 is actually pretty crazy. But actually, as far as like the game is concerned, there's really no true benefit that you're really getting out of the limo. So that's why it's being held back at the number 10 spot. But it's a fun vehicle to drive. So coming in at the number 9 spot, I'm lumping 4 different vehicles into one sort of category, and it makes sense, but at the 9 spot is going to be the racing variant for the Gauntlet, the Dominator, the Stallion, and the Buffalo. So these are just the racing variants of these specific vehicles. So like right now, I am looking at the Sprunk Buffalo. So you get a nice Sprunk livery with this Buffalo, which that's already kind of cool. And for all 4 of these vehicles, they are free on the Southern San Andreas website, even though you can also just pick up a normal Buffalo or Dominator off the street for free. But yeah, when you're just starting out in this game, getting one of these 4 vehicles is not a bad option at all. It's probably one of the cooler options to buy off of any of the websites, because with the other free vehicles that you can get, and some of them we're going to get into later on in this video, you're not going to get any cool liveries. It's just pretty much just bleh, unless if you actually like purchase a livery or any cool color scheme. But you get this livery for absolutely free, and these vehicles, as long as you don't run into the back of a car like how I just did, are pretty fast. But aside from that, though, they're not like some of the fastest vehicles in the game. It's not going to help you directly make a lot of money. It's not going to help like your quality of life in this game. So I mean, yeah, that's the only reason it's being held back at the number 9 spot. So coming in at the number 8 spot, it's going to be a free motorcycle that you can purchase off a Legendary Motorsport, and that is going to be the Carbon RS. So with the Carbon RS, unlike the Gauntlet, the Dominator, Stallion, or the Buffalo that I just mentioned, this Carbon RS is a lot faster than those vehicles. And it is a little bit risky to drive a motorcycle because, like, let's just say you crash, you'll actually like wreck really badly and could potentially die. It could get really frustrating when you haven't really done a whole lot in this game. You're still trying to figure this game out. But this vehicle is definitely a lot faster than the other vehicles that I mentioned at the number 9 spot. And I think the only thing that's really holding back the Carbon RS is the fact that there's actually a better motorcycle that you can actually purchase for less than $100,000 that I'm going to mention later on in this video. But yeah, all in all, a pretty fast bike for what you're getting out of a free vehicle. But that is why it's being held back at the number 8 spot. All right, so coming in at the number 7 spot is going to be our only aircraft on this list, and that is going to be the Dodo. And you can purchase the Dodo off Elitist Travel for absolutely free. Now, I will say the Dodo as an aircraft is pretty garbage, I will have to say. But the only reason it's really coming in on this list is because that it can actually fly. The ability to get airborne as a low level for absolutely free without having to steal any aircraft or whatnot. For most normal players, you can just go to like a helipad and steal a helicopter, or you can just go to an airfield and steal a plane. But you can only do that once you get up to level 11. So let's just say like you're a level 8 just running around. You're like, oh, I want to fly in this game. I want to go from point A to point B. You know, in some scenarios, it's probably a little bit faster to fly even with a Dodo. So just for the ability for the Dodo to get airborne, you know, fly over mountains, not having to stick to a road or have to go off-road, it's pretty nice. But if it was a lot better of an aircraft, it'd be a lot higher on this list. But it's a pretty crap aircraft, and you can land this in water. I guess that's kind of cool, but but I mean, like, really, why are we gonna land an aircraft in water? I mean, we're really not going to be using the water too much. I feel like it's just more as a means of transportation. See, look, ready, and well, boom. Yeah, we just landed in water. Yeah, I'm pretty sure no one's gonna land in water, but pretty much for the ability to fly it through the air as a low level for absolutely free, that is why the Dodo is gonna come in at the number 7 spot. All right, so coming in at the number 6 spot is gonna come off a war stock cash and carry. It's one of 2 vehicles that we're gonna get for absolutely free off a war stock cash and carry, and it's going to be the Marshal. Now, with the Marshal, you can select different liveries, and which corresponds to a nation's flag. Now, the Marshal is actually another vehicle on this list that actually won't benefit you as far as like a quality of life, but the main reason it's on this list is because this vehicle is absolutely fun. I put the limo on this list because it was a fun vehicle to drive. If the limo's on this list because it's a fun vehicle to drive, then geez, you know the monster truck had to be on this list. The Marshal is just so fun to drive just because you can just run over as many vehicles as you want. You can easily just drive off-road if you want. And with this vehicle too, you can be like, oh, I want to jump the railing right there. Boom, there you go. It just jumped over the railing. Oh, I want to run over this car. Yeah, there you go. Bye, car. You can just be like, oh, I just want to jump this little wall right here. Bam. Easily jumped and just ran into the tree. But I wanted to run into that tree because, you know, that's just what I wanted to do. Just run over cars, you know, for fun. Such a fun vehicle to drive. But the only reason it's really at the number 6 spot is because it's not really helping your quality of life in this game as a low level. Like, if you just want to goof around and have fun, this is a great vehicle to drive. But if you want to make some money, this is definitely not the vehicle to go with. So yeah, that is why the Marshal is being held back at the number 6 spot. So the next vehicle on this list is going to be off a Legendary Motorsport, and this is when we really start getting into the good vehicles on this list. The vehicles that will actually really help you out, or at least have the potential to get customized even further to be even better or even look a lot better too. So the vehicle at the number 5 spot is going to be the LG RH8, which is absolutely free off the Legendary Motorsport website. Now, in my opinion, I think the LG RH8 is probably the fastest vehicle that you can get for absolutely free. Now, some of these other vehicles that we're going to get into later on in this list are going to probably be a lot faster than the LG once you upgrade it, but when you're just only talking about the stock version of this vehicle and before you're able to put any upgrades on it as a low level, I think the LG RH8 is probably the fastest vehicle that you can get. Now, another thing with this vehicle too is that you can take this vehicle to Benny's and you can customize this vehicle at Benny's to make it look a lot cooler and make it a lot faster. But only for this list, we're factoring in the potential for this vehicle to do that. But as a low level, this is a great like starter vehicle to drive around. But in my opinion, the only reason this vehicle is being held back is because there's some better vehicles that'll actually make your quality of life in GTA Online a lot better. And there's some vehicles also on this list that'll actually directly make you some money. But that is why the LG RH8 is coming in at the number 5 spot. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot is a vehicle that you have to pay $60,000 off the Southern San Andreas website, but you can actually get this vehicle for free off the street. So essentially, this vehicle is going to be free. You just got to be able to find it on the street. But it's going to be the Ubermox Sentinel XS, a vehicle that I just made a video about. Now, the thing with the Sentinel XS compared to any of these other vehicles I've gotten into so far on this list is for the ability for the Sentinel XS to be upgraded as an HSW vehicle. And as I made a video on just recently, you can actually get an HSW vehicle upgrade for free. So you can get this Sentinel XS off the street for free, and then you can get an HSW upgrade for this vehicle for free. So you'll just be able to get an HSW vehicle for absolutely free. And why getting an HSW vehicle is very important is the ability to do HSW time trials. And every week that you do an HSW vehicle time trial, you'll get $250,000. So doing an HSW time trial for absolutely free is very, very nice. And especially as a low level, it'll definitely help get the ball rolling as far as making money is concerned. You just get a quick $250,000 for completing an HSW time trial. I mean, that $250,000 as a low level can go a very long way. It can help you pay for the things that you want in this game to help you make even more money. So in my opinion, that is why the Sentinel XS deserves to be at the number 4 spot. Now, the number 3 vehicle on this list is another vehicle of a Legendary Motorsport, and that is going to be the Bravado Banshee, which for some people, you can get it off the website for absolutely free, like how I can, but that's not available to everyone, but you can just go out and steal a Banshee off the street, and that'll be just as good. Now, when I made the video about getting a free HSW vehicle, I'm going to apologize for this. I forgot the Bravado Banshee actually could be upgraded as an HSW vehicle, but the reason it's coming in ahead of of the Sentinel XS is because when you upgrade the Bravado Banshee, it is a lot faster than the HSW Sentinel XS. And the Bravado Banshee does have the potential to be upgraded at Benny's. So this vehicle right now is kind of dull, not incredibly fast. It is pretty fast, but not like blazing speed. But we can just take it to the Ellis car meet, modify it, and let it become an HSW vehicle, and it'll become a really fast vehicle, and it can help you do HSW time trials. But that is why the Bravado Banshee is going to come in at the number 3 spot. So the number 2 vehicle on this list is going to come from the Warsaw Cash and Carry, and it's going to be the Duke of Death, which is absolutely free. Now, the Duke of Death is coming on this list for very different reasons than these other vehicles on this list. And the big thing is that this vehicle is actually armored. Now, the other vehicles on this list were not armored pretty much at all, but this Duke of Death right here has some pretty nice armor. It's not the best armor in the game, but it's actually pretty good armor. So the big thing about the armor is that when you do missions, like, I don't know, let's just say you do the first of those missions, you can just pull out the Duke of Death right here, which will be absolutely free, and then boom, they'll just make those missions a lot easier for you. And this vehicle is actually pretty fast too. I feel like it's even one of the faster vehicles that you can get as a low level too. So just for how fast this vehicle is, and the fact that this vehicle has some pretty nice armor on it, that is why the Duke of Death is coming in at the number 2 spot. And coming in at the number 1 spot for vehicles that are under $100,000 in GTA Online is going to be another vehicle of a Southern San Andreas. And this vehicle is one of the few vehicles on this list that is not free. It is $15,000, but the price of this vehicle, 1, it's not that much money, and 2, it is definitely worth it. And it's going to be the Body 801. This is definitely the fastest vehicle on this list. This vehicle is so incredibly fast. One thing with this vehicle that I didn't mention with any of these other vehicles on this list is the ability for this vehicle to do the normal time trial. Now, the normal time trials do not pay as much money as the HSW time trials, but they still pay you $100,000, and pretty much it's only going to be like 3 minutes of work, maybe, if you do it first attempt. So that's nice. But this bike is one of the fastest bikes in the game. I mean, aside from the Hakachu drag and the ability to upgrade the Hakachu drag into an HSW vehicle, I feel like there's no other bike in the game that you actually should get other than the Body 801 when it comes to just speed. I mean, this is just a nice bang for your buck. One of the fastest vehicles in the game overall at only $15,000. So if I were just starting out as a low level in this game, I would be looking to get the Body 801 as one of my first vehicles. But that was my list of the top 10 cheapest vehicles under $100,000 in GTA Online. Make sure you check out this video right here if you want to see the top 9 ways to make millions in GTA Online.